It is the morning after. You know exactly what morning I mean. You woke up and for 2 seconds, everything was normal. Then you remembered and the weight arrived. Last night happened. The streak is gone. 23 days, or 40 days, or 90. The number does not matter anymore. That is what you were telling yourself. The number is gone. You are back at 0. And right now you are lying there running the film of last night. How it started. How small it started. One scroll, one image, 1 minute that became an hour. The exact moment you knew you were going to do it and kept pretending you were not. And now the questions are arriving. Was any of it real? The energy, the clarity, the confidence. Did you imagine all of it? Are you just a man who read some forum posts and convinced himself he was becoming something? Stop. Before you answer any of those questions, before you open your phone, before you decide what last night means, listen to this. Because what you do in the next hour matters more than what you did last night. Last night was a fall. The next hour decides whether it becomes a collapse. Most men get this exactly wrong. They think the relapse is the damage. It is not. The relapse is one night. The damage is what men do with the week after.
Here is what happens to most men on this morning. The shame arrives first. And shame is not guilt. Guilt says I did something that goes against what I am building. Shame says I am something. I am weak. I am broken. I am the kind of man who always fails. Guilt looks at the action. Shame attacks the identity. And shame is the most dangerous chemical in this entire process, because watch what shame does next. Shame says you have already failed. The streak is dead. The week is ruined. So what difference does today make? You already broke it. Might as well go again. Start fresh on Monday. Clean slate, new month. And that is how one night becomes 3 days. That is how a fall becomes a binge. Not because the man wanted it, because shame convinced him the damage was already total. So hear this clearly. The damage is not total. One relapse after 23 days does not erase 23 days. Your brain did not unrewire overnight. The receptors that healed did not unheal. The strength you built training on the hard days did not evaporate. You did not go back to 0. 0 is the man who never started. 0 is the man still in the cycle who has never once fought it. You are not that man. You are a man who walked 23 days into new territory and stumbled. A stumble on mile 23 is not the same as never leaving the house. The counter went to 0. You did not. Now, the uncomfortable part. Because this video is not here to make you feel better. It is here to make sure this morning is worth something. The relapse did not come from nowhere. It never does. Run the film again. Not the last hour. The last 3 days. The relapse did not start when you picked up the phone. It started earlier. Maybe you stopped training 2 days before. Maybe you stayed up past your sleep time 3 nights running. Maybe you were scrolling for an hour longer each night, standing closer and closer to the edge, telling yourself you were just looking at the view. Maybe something happened. Stress, loneliness, a conversation that hurt, boredom on a Saturday with no plan. The relapse was not the failure. The relapse was the last domino. The failure was upstream, in the small permissions, the little negotiations, the protocol that got loose at the edges while you told yourself you had this handled. And here is why this matters. Because if you only feel bad about last night, you will change nothing. You will white-knuckle another 20 days on willpower, arrive at the same weak point, and fall the same way. But if you find the upstream failure, the real one, then last night stops being a shame story. It becomes data. the most expensive data you have ever collected. So answer this honestly. Not what did I do last night? What did I stop doing 3 days before? Where did the protocol crack first? What was I feeling that I did not deal with? Find that answer. Write it down. That answer is what you paid for last night. Do not leave it on the table.
Now here is what you do today. Not Monday, not tomorrow, today. First, get up and do the protocol immediately. Cold shower, train, work. Today of all days, because your brain is waiting to see what this morning means. If you spend today in bed scrolling and feeling worthless, you confirm the shame story. You teach your system that a fall means the rules stop. But if you get up and execute on the worst morning, you send a different message. The fall does not change who I am. The protocol is not a reward for good behavior. It is what I do. Second, do not touch the counter today. Do not reset the app. Do not announce day 1. Not yet. Because right now, the counter is a weapon shame will use against you. Reset it tomorrow morning, quietly, when the shame has burned off and you can look at the number as information instead of a verdict. Third, close the loopholes you found. Not with promises, with mechanics. If the fall started with late-night scrolling, the phone charger's outside the bedroom tonight, not when you feel motivated, tonight. If it started with boredom, Saturday gets a plan. If it started with something you were feeling, you say it to someone, a brother, a friend, out loud, because the thing you medicate in silence, you will medicate again. And fourth, this is the one most men refuse. Tell one person, one man you trust, not the internet, not a forum of strangers, one real man. I fell last night. I am back up today. Because shame grows in the dark. It cannot survive being spoken plainly to someone who does not flinch. The men who recover fast are not the strongest. They're the ones who refuse to carry the fall alone.
Now the last thing, the thing you actually need to hear. Every man you respect on this path has a morning like this one. Every single one. The man on day 300, he has this morning in his history. Probably more than one. The difference between him and the man still trapped in the cycle is not that he never fell. It is what falling became in his hands. For the trapped man, every fall is proof. See, I knew I was weak. For the free man, every fall was tuition. Paid once, learned from, never wasted. You are choosing right now which man you are. Not with a feeling, with this morning. With whether you get up, with whether you find the upstream crack, with whether you close it with mechanics instead of promises, with whether you say it out loud to one man instead of burying it. The streak was never the point. The number was never the point. The point was always who you become through the practice, and who you become is decided on exactly 2 kinds of days: the days it is hard to continue, and the days after you fail to. Yesterday, you failed. Today is the second kind of day, the rare kind, the kind that builds something the good days never could, because any man can walk when the path is clear. The man who gets up from the fall on the morning the shame is loudest and does the work anyway, that man is being built out of different material. So get up, cold water, train, work, find the crack, close it, say it out loud, and tomorrow morning, quietly, without ceremony, day 1. Not day 1 as punishment, day 1 as a man who knows something now that he did not know before. The war starts within, and some wars are won on the morning after the battle was lost. This morning, get up.